goes into that. It says 21 other guys on your team. You know, if it was a throwing contest, yeah, hell yeah, he'd go get it. But, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in different seasons. And, you know, what Tom has done is historic. But there's no doubt if they could, if there was a player who could do it, it would be Patrick.
We'll go to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach. Thinking back to what you said after the game about we didn't come here to not take chances. You know, a year ago, you kind of did that at the Super Bowl when you talked to us and you said, I want Tom Brady. Some people might have even laughed at you when you said that because you were coaching a 7-9 team at the time. Can you just speak to what that's meant for you throughout your career, the importance of taking chances, of swinging big?
Yeah, I mean, you can't hit a home run if you're going to swing for one. You can't do anything special in life sitting on a fence. And, you know, the question back then was if there was a quarterback that was a free agent, who would you want? And yeah, of course it was Tom Brady, but not thinking he'd become a free agent. But once he did, it was a pursuit that we wanted to make and knew he had some interest. So, but again, if that's how you live life, I don't know, you sit and live in a closet and try to be safe, or you go have some damn fun.
Go to Greg Allman.
Bruce, your secondary's obviously had some ups and downs, but they've never lacked for confidence as a young group. I'd want to ask you about Sean Murphy-Bunting and just the run that he's on with picks in 3 straight games against some really big quarterbacks, and just what that does for him going into another tough one here in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, Sean's been playing through a bunch of injuries, and I think, you know, most people don't realize it, but yeah, when you get 3 picks against those guys, you should be playing with a ton of confidence, and he's playing extremely well right now, outside and inside.
Go to Scott Reynolds.
Bruce, can you take us back to what Jason Light was saying was the turning point of the season, that Chicago Bears game when Brady kind of erupted on the sidelines? Was that game the marker in terms of you guys finally turning the corner and not beating yourselves when you look back in the season?
Yeah, it really had nothing to do with what he said on the sideline. It was what we came back and looked at the film, and 11 or 12 penalties, turnovers. It was us beating the hell out of ourselves, and we knew we were a good football team. We couldn't win that way, and the players took it upon themselves to become one of the least penalized teams in the league from then on out.
Go to Gene Fournette.
Yes, Bruce. Could you, looking back a few years ago when you were trying to convince Byron to get into coaching, what made you so certain that he would be a good coach? And did you have any second thoughts that you actually had to convince him to leave the golf course or whatever other things he was up to get into it? Yeah, when you look at especially pro quarterbacks who've made a pretty good amount of money, coaching is something they look forward to. And I knew having him as a player, and I thought Charlie Batch, Kelly Holcomb, all would have been great coaches. They decided, Kelly said, no, I'm just staying with my family. Charlie had other interests. Byron, it was just a matter of just keep plugging away until he got bored and wanted to do something with his life. And he was very young, so I just kept hammering him. And I think once he got in there for that spring, he realized, yeah, coach, this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
We'll go to Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Bruce, obviously it's unusual aside from a bye week to have this much time off to prep for a game, and it's for good reason for you guys. So I'm just curious. I know we hear you talk a lot about, you know, the practice, the mood and the intensity of practice, and you wouldn't be ramping that up right now so far out from the game. So I'm just sort of wondering schedule-wise how you handle from now until the Super Bowl in terms of what you want to accomplish every day and then like ramping it up next week.
No, we ramp it up this week because there's so many obligations with the media next week. You don't want to try to teach your game plan, and we'll ramp it up again next week, but we're getting everything taught. Had a great practice today, and we'll go full speed Friday and Saturday, and then come back and get a full week's work in. But again, all the obligations to the media and everything else, it's different next week.
We'll go over to Charlie Clifford.
Hey, Bruce, up here in Indy. Congrats, you're a miracle worker. You have some folks up there actually cheering for Tom Brady. So job well done there.
Thank you.
We're looking back at 2012, man. It was an incredible emotional ride. What piece of that season do you still carry with you ahead of this huge moment?
Oh, really, all of it. I think there were two moments: beating the Packers in that first game and letting Jim Irsay take that game ball down to the hospital and give it to Chuck, and then standing on the sidelines in Kansas City and winning that game and going to the playoffs with that very, very, very young team.
We'll go to Ben Volen.
Hey, Bruce. Heading into the bye this year, you guys lost 3 of 4 games. Then after the bye, the offense played great. You've won 7 games since then. Can you just take us back to how you guys approached the bye week? And did you tinker with things and maybe figure things out back then?
Yeah, it was such a late bye. I mean, we did most of we do our self-scout every week, but we did a major one, looked at the running game, passing game, everything that we were doing, and simplified some things. But we really started playing really good the second half of that Kansas City game, and built the momentum from then. And then obviously the second half in Atlanta, gaining that confidence, gaining that continuity, and then defensively playing so well in the playoffs and playing good complementary football, taking ball away, scoring touchdowns. So since that time, we've been playing pretty good complementary ball.
We'll go to Tom Rock.
Bruce, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about how Tom and Gronk play off of each other in the locker room, particularly. Seem to have two very different leadership styles. How does that work out? And did you know that when you brought them both in?
I didn't know about Gronk's work ethic. It's unbelievable. I mean, he comes in early, stays late, is great, but he's Gronk. So he's got that great personality to go with his work ethic. You knew Tom was a great leader. And with COVID, I don't go in the locker room very much, but those two guys brought something extremely special because they've been there and done it. And when young players see that, they listen. And you see two totally different personalities doing it the same way.
We'll go to Nora Princiati.
Yeah, hey, Bruce. So you look at both Super Bowl teams and look at the rosters, and it seems like both have really strong tight ends. And even just looking around the league, it seems like maybe not everyone's quite to that level, but there's really good play at that position. So I'm curious, kind of over the last 10 years or so, how you've seen that position develop and how it's valued by teams kind of develop.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Great athletes started playing the position, maybe a little bit before that, but most of them weren't good enough basketball players, so they turned to football. And, I think Tony Gonzalez was one of those type guys that started it. But Antonio Gates, really good power forwards that they weren't going to the NBA, so they went to and that's what you're seeing, great athletes playing that position now.
Go to Kevin O'Donnell.
Hey, Bruce, getting back to that bye week, one of the issues you guys were having in losing 3 of those 4 games was the long ball just wasn't connecting with Tom. I think he missed 24 straight passes over 20 yards. What changed with his game there? Because obviously he's been flat on since that point.
I just keep working on it. Keep, continuity with the guys. Chris had been hurt. Mike had been hurt. Scotty had been out. I mean, different. AB was just getting into it. I think we were starting to gel a little bit going into that bye week, and then just working on it during the bye week, and just continue to throw more of them.
We'll go to Karen Loftus.
Coach, your offensive line has really gotten into a groove, especially, I know we keep pointing to the bye week, but especially since then, they're giving up less than a sack per game. Can you just speak to their ability to protect Tom and not only keeping him off the ground, but also giving him enough time to complete his passes?
Yeah, they've done a great job. I think they've done a great job all year, run and pass, but pass protection has been great. You got to throw the tight ends in there, and Joe Haig. Those guys have done a really good job, and our running backs. So it was, again, work in progress for a long, long time. And, things just started to click, and little things by little pieces by pieces. And after the bye week, knock on wood, other than losing Alex Kappa, we've been pretty healthy. So that's really helped.
We have time for a few more. We'll go to Deanne King.
Hey, Coach. So basically, this Super Bowl, it's really going to be very historic, and mainly in part, we're going to see two women coaching out there on the field. We have Black coordinators that are on the field. Kind of a two-part question here. One, what message do you hope this sends to our nation, really the world, especially given the climate of racial issues right now? And then ultimately, what made you make these people, these men, these women, a part of this team?
Well, the men are easy. They're my guys, and they're outstanding. They're some of the best coaches I know. The women was by choice. I thought that door needed to be open. They're great teachers. They work their tails off, and they're more than qualified. Really happy to see Sarah calling the ball game, getting to be the first official. But inclusivity and diversity are great ways to teach. I mean, the more input from different types of voices, the better output you get. And so, yeah, we're very, very proud of our staff and looking forward to having a great game.
Last one will be John Romano.
Hey, Bruce, as much as the rest of the world wants to focus on Tom Brady for this matchup, you've been talking about building a great defense here from the moment you arrived. Just how far has this defense come under Todd Bowles in the last 2 years?
Oh, I think light years. I think light years, just the mixture of all those young guys in the secondary, solidifying the front. And again, going into last season, we had to get Shaq back. We had to get Sue back. Keeping